What do you do when she starts ignoring you? Do you chase her, text her twice, pretend it doesn't bother you, try to fix it, explain, make her see? Let me stop you right there, because what I'm about to say might just save you from making the exact mistake that 99% of men make when a woman pulls away. When she goes quiet, it's not always about disinterest. Sometimes it's a test, other times it's a subtle power play, and in rare but painfully real cases, it's emotional warfare, camouflaged as silence. The rules are unspoken, the stakes are high, and most men lose before they realize they were even being played. But not you, not this time, because in this message I'm going to hand you the playbook, not the desperate version, not the weak, over-explaining, over-texting, please choose me version, no. I'm giving you the cold, calculated, emotionally dominant strategy that flips the script without saying a single needy word. This is about acting with surgical stoicism. This is about breaking her ego without ever breaking your frame. This is about becoming a man so composed, so quietly powerful, that she doesn't just miss you. She doubts everything she thought she knew about you. You won't chase, you won't flinch, you'll evolve. When she pulls back, most men lean in. They react, they text, they spiral, they try to fix what they think is broken. But here's the truth, nothing's broken. It's just your illusion of control falling apart. A stoic man does not chase noise. He listens to silence and answers it with stillness, not with bitterness, not with anger, but with absolute indifference, because indifference, real indifference, not fake aloofness, not Instagram posturing, is the loudest, most destabilizing force you can bring into this psychological dance. See, most women expect a reaction. That's what fuels their control. They expect confusion. They expect frustration. They expect a breadcrumb trail of desperate behaviors to confirm they still hold power. But when she's met with your silence, not retaliation, not passive-aggressive quotes, just silence, she spirals. Why? Because silence leaves space, and human egos, especially ones that rely on attention, don't know how to handle space. They project, they assume, they panic. She starts asking, did I go too far? Is he mad? Did he lose interest? Now she's the one in confusion. She's the one stuck replaying the last text, the last look, the last moment of power she thought she had. And without a word, you've reversed the dynamic. You've said the one thing that hits deeper than any speech. I don't need your attention to validate my worth. That's not cruelty, that's discipline. That's presence, and presence is the foundation of power. Here's the next principle that separates men who rise from men who beg. The man who needs nothing, owns everything, and the man who expects nothing is never controlled. Most guys get it twisted. They confuse emotional maturity with emotional dependence. They think they're being vulnerable when they ask for closure. They think they're being strong when they demand respect. But a Stoic knows this. The moment you need anything from someone who has emotionally withdrawn, you hand them the script, and the ending is no longer yours. You expect her to explain. You expect her to respect you. You expect her to still show decency. But why? What rulebook are you reading from? Because in the game of emotional power, expectations are traps. Every single one. She has nothing to give you that you can't give yourself, unless you forget who you are. A Stoic man doesn't just walk away. He walks away with zero emotional debt. He doesn't need to be heard. He doesn't need to win. He just exits the scene with grace, and that exit becomes the most unforgettable act in the story. Why? Because the man who doesn't beg, plead, or demand is the man who can't be conquered. Be that man. the one who stays whole even when he's disappointed, the one who feels, but never flinches, the one who expects nothing, and yet gains more than anyone else in the room. You want revenge, not the loud kind, not the angry kind. You want the kind of revenge that requires no words at all. It's called the echo effect. Here's how it works. When you're emotionally consistent in someone's life, they build a rhythm around you. A tempo, a pattern. You text, you call, you care. They get used to it, and they start taking it for granted. But when you suddenly pull away, calmly, quietly, completely, you disrupt that rhythm. That disruption creates a psychological void. And that void doesn't stay quiet. It echoes. Every moment she doesn't hear from you, your absence becomes louder. Every story you don't view, your silence becomes a signal. Every post you don't like, your distance becomes discomfort. And the ego that once fed on your presence now begins to starve. It starts reevaluating the last interaction. It starts obsessing. She checks your profile. She notices your energy is missing. And she hates it, not because she lost you, but because you're not even giving her a reason why. That's the echo. That's the storm that brews in silence. Use it wisely. Don't post to prove you're fine. Don't try to show off your glow up. Just disappear with poise and let her mind do the chasing. Because a woman doesn't fear losing your presence, she fears being replaced by your peace. Your most powerful move is not confrontation. It's reflection. Most men try to explain. They want her to understand. They write paragraphs. They pour out their hearts. They justify their silence. Don't. Instead, become a mirror, so clear, so untouchable, that the only thing she sees when she looks at you is herself, her choices, her games, her loss. How? Don't accuse, don't explain, don't react. Let your transformation speak. Let her see you in passing, thriving, clear-eyed, unbothered. Let mutual friends whisper that you've leveled up. Let your lifestyle, your discipline, your composure, your lack of chaos be the loudest sermon she'll ever hear. When she realizes that her absence didn't stunt your growth but ignited it, she will feel the true weight of her choices. That's what Stoicism does. It reveals, it reflects, and then it leaves you to sit with what you see. Become that mirror. Let her wrestle with the reflection. You want to truly collapse her ego. Don't block her. Don't curse her out. Don't ghost her in petty rage. No, just stop orbiting around her. Start being where she isn't. Stop viewing her stories. Stop reacting to her attention traps. And stop showing up in places she expects you to be. Instead, show up in new spaces, real ones, powerful ones, private ones. Let her realize she no longer has access, not just to your messages, but to your world. That confusion she feels, that discomfort when she realizes she's not being watched. That's not just missing you, that's her ego losing oxygen, because women don't just want you watching. They want you reacting. Take that away. Strategically vanish. Become invisible, not to manipulate, but to elevate. Let her know you didn't leave out of hurt. You left out of standards. Here's where most men get it wrong. They vanish, but they do it to win her back. Wrong. The final Stoic move is this. You disappear, you evolve, you rebuild. Not to return to her, but to return to the world as a man reborn. Not out of spite, not out of pain, but out of purpose. You go silent, not as a tactic, but as a transformation. You hit the gym, not for her attention, but for your own integrity. You upgrade your life, not for revenge, but for resurrection. You improve your world, not to prove a point, but to become one. And when you eventually reappear, not in her inbox, not in her DM, but in life, radiating peace, discipline, strength, she won't know what to do with that version of you. Because she remembers the man she ignored, she doesn't recognize the man you've become. That's the final blow, not rage, not punishment, just evolution. You win not by destroying her ego with drama, but by becoming a man who is forever out of reach. So what do you do when she ignores you? You don't chase, you don't explain, you don't retaliate, you recalibrate. You let your silence be your strategy, you let your absence be your message, and you let your growth be the thing she never saw coming. Because a Stoic doesn't react, he rebuilds. He turns distance into dignity, he turns rejection into redirection, and he becomes the kind of man whose presence isn't just missed, it's mourned. So let her play games. Let her ego stretch itself thin. You'll be somewhere greater, sharper, unreachable, because in the end, she won't remember the words you didn't say. She'll remember the silence you owned like a throne. And the man you became when she thought she broke you, that is power. If this message spoke to you, hit like to show you're done chasing, and tap subscribe to become the man they can't ignore. More power, more strategy, more silence, coming your way.